welcome to the Canadian English Online course. Today's topic is about describing people. Describing someone's physical appearance sounds easy until you actually try to do it. To be able to describe someone's physical appearance, it depends on the situation, whether you want to describe someone you just met to a friend or alert the police about a crime suspect. It's important to cover key physical details and unique characteristics systematically. In this lesson, we are going to be describing someone to the police in English in the most neutral terms as possible. Neutral here would mean just stating a person's appearance as is seen using adjectives that are general, not in a complimentary way or in an offensive way either. We're going to start with the body. But first of all, you have to identify them as male or female. That is when appropriate. So if you're trying to describe a suspect to the police, you may have to say something along the lines like, they looked like a man to me, but I can't be certain. You can also take note of their skin color and guess a race or ethnicity if needed. You can stick to just describing the color of their skin using terms such as olive, pale, dark, brown, and so on. Estimate their age range within 5 or 10-year increments. For instance, identify someone as looking 30 to 35 instead of 30 to 40 gives a clearer picture to others. Describe their weight with terms like thin, average, and large build. It's usually more difficult to estimate weight accurately than it is to estimate someone's height. Therefore, stick to giving fairly vague categorizations of a person's overall build, saying things like, she was very thin, or he has a very large build. Mention their overall appearance as tactfully as possible. In this way, you stay neutral, not being offensive or being complimentary. Use attractive to denote good looking instead of beautiful, gorgeous, or possibly even handsome. Also, use scruffy or unkempt instead of messy. Now, describing facial features and unique details. Here, we are going to talk about a person's hair color, length, style, and appearance. In describing a person in such a manner, we would want to use general terms again, such as the color of their hair, which could be brown, black, blonde, sandy, red, grey. The length of hair. The length of hair can be described in these terms as shaved, short, medium, long, shoulder length. The style of hair can also be said to be straight, curly, wavy, afro, ponytail, dreadlocks, bun, mohawk, etc. When describing the general looks of a person, we may use descriptive words such as messy, thinning, frizzy, glossy, clean, slicked, and so on. To be able to learn more about descriptive words in practice, you may want to refer to books that have movies based on them. Here are 2 examples. The first book we're going to talk about is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. This is the description of Rubeus Hagrid, the character in the book. He is described as a half-giant with shaggy hair and a wild tangled beard. And that description is portrayed in the movie quite well, if I do say so myself. Here's another example, quite a long one, from Charles Dickens' book Oliver Twist, where a character known as the Artful Dodger is described. Stay tuned. This is going to be long. He was a snub-nosed, browed common boy, enough and as dirty as a juvenile as one would wish to see. But he had about him all the airs and manners of a man. He was short of his age, with rather bow legs and little, sharp, ugly eyes. His hat was stuck on the top of his head so lightly that it threatened to fall off every moment, and would have done so very often if the wearer had not had a knack of every now and then giving his head a sudden twitch, which brought it back to its old place again. He wore a man's coat which reached nearly to his heels. He had turned the cuffs back halfway up his arm to get his hands out of his sleeves, apparently with the ultimate view of thrusting them into the pockets of his corduroy trousers. For there he kept them. He was altogether as roistering and swaggering a young gentleman as ever stood 4 feet 6 or something less in the blushes. That was quite a long one, wasn't it? Well, if you notice the differences between the descriptions between J.K. Rowling's description of Rubeus Hagrid and the description of the Artful Dodger by the author Charles Dickens, you see a slight difference. Okay, not slight, huge difference. One is just giving you how Hagrid looked like, and the other is just giving you every vivid detail, being as negative because of how the Artful Dodger was described as just someone mischievous. Well, so depending on who you're talking to and how you want to talk to a person, typically you would not want to offend anybody if you're given a description of the person. So the best way to do it would be to do it as tactfully as possible and use it in general terms as you have learned in this lesson. That is the end of today's lesson. Hope to see you again. Bye!